It's December 9th, 2017. This is the Bring Your Own Identity meeting. We have Kit and Gary on board. Should we start with frustrations and excitements?
I can say a little bit about my excitements. The openings that are happening with MetaMaps and new maps, NOOMAPS, are breathtaking.
Yeah.
I just, the possibilities are tremendous, but I see both of those openings as being related to sort of a merging of the power of social ledger with the power that something like new maps and or MetaMaps brings to a community. In some sense, I kind of see social ledger as bringing the community to these really amazing tools that are out there. And again, the frustration, I guess, will never change. We need more people here, but I also want to point out the interesting developments on the governance app channel on RChain.
Yeah, I don't know much about that. Governance is another big area of cooperation and certainly related to the social ledger. So, and the excitement of the visualizations and user experience that we can provide with MetaMaps and new maps is awesome potential. Of course, each one is limited, but
well, they just can't serve as a primary platform for a community. And the community, the conversation is the community, and it's all about the conversation. And that's what social ledger helps do, is bring the conversation to the tools.
Yeah.
RChain, are they using social ledger?
A little bit, yeah. They're part of the trial, and there's a lot of excitement about it. It's still hard to get people to type /dig, which is one of the reasons.
One thing about the RChain MetaMaps presence is this seems to be the place that quite a few communities are showing up and sending representatives to represent, the different communities. And what's amazing is the high level of participation that you see there.
Yeah, and another project that we want to get people involved in is the Rolang on RChain. That, I think, could inspire, a lot of the people in the RChain community might be inspired to work on that project.
Well, we're going to need that ourselves pretty soon, I'm guessing. And I'm thinking that that will be another of those pull things. We're not going to have to push that. The community is going to come to RChain in that respect, because RChain is going to be one of the most natural venues for the use of Rolang early.
Did you buy a hollow?
Holobot yet?
Did you? What do they call it? Hollow.
Holo
The
box? Yeah, Holobox. No, I haven't bought one yet. You think I missed my chance?
Yeah, I don't know. Might have. But,
Well, if I did, then we will be building holoboxes in noob school.
right. Yeah, you could use any machine as a hollow box.
Right.
um, and you know, I bought a Nano because you know, I wanted to be part of the network, but I wanted to invest my money not in a box, but in buying hollow when they have their sale. The tokens. I love the way that they have in the free market in that you can charge whatever you want for access to your box. Although I think there'll be so many of them that are free that it may be yeah, well, it'll be really cheap. You know, when you go to the market, the hollow market. Okay, I guess we should get started on identity, huh? Do you have any frustrations or excitements to share, Kit?
Well, let's start on a positive note with excitement. The Telegram, we have 374 users now, so that's growing steadily. And I am going to start a RChain test channel where we admins can play around with mistakes and learn how to administrate Telegram. So that's on my to-do list for this weekend, actually, and I'll invite everybody, and I'll also post it in the channel. But I think it'd be good if we had a test channel because we can use it for testing integrations and future bots or changing rules or things like that.
So maybe you want to take charge of the social ledger on Telegram, although you've been resistant to it.
Oh, in terms of getting integrated, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be fun. Let me give that some thought, actually, how that might work, because we could probably write a social ledger bot that would be able to, go back and forth between the social ledger as it lives on a Mattermost server and showing up as messages in Telegram or something.
Right. The only issue will be prettying it up, because you know what's returned is basically in the form of a Slack message. It's not. It's not going to be displayed great if it just gets dumped directly to a Telegram message. We're going to want to do some editing to make it pretty.
Yeah, well, Telegram uses the same icons that the social ledger uses. That's a
plus.
A standard set. So we might be able to get those icons to translate through, by doing : thumbs up : and
that's the way it
colon.
comes. That's the way it comes already. So the icons are solved.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. And in fact, this test group that I want to set up would be the perfect place to test that. That's why I want to have it. And
where the problem will be is in the markdown. I don't think, does Telegram support markdown?
the bot does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it could be really simple.
Oh, yeah.
Does it come,
Yeah,
it comes back in markdown with
I'm not quite sure what you mean that the bot will handle markdown, Kit.
well, the bot that we have installed, that group Butler bot,
Yeah, I've seen that.
handle markdown. So, for instance, you're an admin, and if somebody is misbehaving, you can type /rules, and the rules will come up visible. Those rules are in markdown. And I mean, the rules, I think there's 6 of them. It's very simple. There's a bold title, rules, and then there's a list with 6 items in it, but it's markdown. And
sweet. I think so it looks like Social Ledger is a shoe-in.
so,
It looks like it's.
But Jim, did that address all of your markdown concerns about Telegram? Because I haven't figured out how the user will enter markdown in Telegram yet. The members.
yeah, users, I don't think you can put markdown in a message. I think it'll just come through raw. But it's only in the context of the bot. So, for instance, when I update the rules, I type /set rules, and then I paste markdown, and I hit enter, and that updates the rules.
At one time, I looked at Telegram and I thought it would be an easy implementation, but I've slept since then, and I may have to go back and look at it again. But Kit, if you have that admin meeting, I would like to see an admin's eye view of that. If you'll make that meeting public or invite me, I would like to attend.
Yeah. Well, I will first post in GitHub, and I'll mention you and Jim and Kevin and other people who are already admins, just so that we can discuss it there if need be.
That's fine.
Once the group exists and the GitHub invitation goes out, I'm also going to announce it in the group and just invite anybody to join, because we need a bunch of people just to play guinea pig, so that they can get banned, and then we unban them or we warn them, and we try out those things, because those times are coming. And by that, I mean, we're definitely going to get some shady characters showing up. We already have that scam that you discovered. That was a good catch.
Yeah, but the weird place I caught it was through, it caught my eye when it came through GitHub on our Mattermost Bridge channel. And that was the only time I saw it. I didn't see it on Twitter. I didn't see it on Slack, and I thought, wait a minute, that doesn't look right.
Right.
And I even it looked so good when I went into it. I thought, oh my gosh, what is it? But what I realized was you could have groups of rock owners form these things that look just like ICOs and are legit. But then they take on the burden of what is it? The SEC is going to call it something that we don't like.
Security.
The security, yes. I can't even say the word, right?
Right. We're not supposed to use the word.
So I mean, I'm not sure. I still, for instance. the gentleman who's offering to buy the remaining 5 million of rock, I mean, he may want to create a security with the rock he owns, for all we know. So
that's
I guess
business as long as the co-op isn't involved.
Right, and
Yeah,
I think Jacob has kept a real a distance to both the co-op and the holdings, which I think is pretty wise.
Everybody voted on the rock on KuCoin.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to win. I shouldn't say that because but it doesn't look good. If they just go by the numbers of those three that they're considering, we're a small fraction, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think even if we don't win, if we come in second or third, that'll help us get in through the normal channel.
Yes.
It'll make us known, and so we should be able to get on there.
Jim, before we leave this subject of Telegram Markdown, I still have the concern. Do you not have the concern about not being able to for the member to do Markdown on Telegram, or did you see a solution in the fact that the bot could do it?
Yeah, I think whatever translation is necessary, we could do in a bot. Okay, two ways to do that. One is to have a proxy. Okay, that calls the real DigLife command and translates the output to Telegram format. And I'm thinking maybe we don't have to do that. We won't have to do that at all. But I think that's the worst case scenario is a proxy, and that's not going to cost that much.
Okay. One concern is not really concern. I mean, the Telegram identity is universal across all channels in Telegram. So instead of having an identity per server, there's one identity for all Telegram servers. And although somebody could have multiple accounts, I guess we should consider that. Should we, Kit?
Yeah, I actually have 2 accounts. So it's something that is bound to happen.
I know.
Well, I don't know that we need to impose something on Telegram. I'm not convinced that we have solved yet either, Jim.
Yeah, somebody could have multiple accounts in Mattermost, but they're, so they'll be separate on the social ledger, and that's fine.
Yeah, but who wants? Once you get into the same environment, who wants to maintain multiple personas? I mean, in any one environment, you're going to have a single identity. It's going to be schizophrenic otherwise.
Yeah, well, like Kit says, he has multiple, and people do.
But
our problem is this. Okay, now suppose you come from, let's say, the DigLife Mattermost. Okay, with the dig command, and you navigate into a Telegram channel. What are your permissions? What activities have you committed to? If you have 2 identities, we don't know. If you have one identity, we can resolve that easily.
Well, if you have 2 identities, yeah, we do have to maintain the 2 identities. But
right, but how do we know? But we don't know. With the person's universal identity, when they go in, when they enter the domain of a
You know, I hate to say it, but that's not our concern.
Well, what do? We enter them with no permissions, or we choose one at random, or the last one they used. We have to know what identity to use for the person. What is your identity on all the different servers? I mean, you may have the same username and the same password.
Yeah, I kind of run into this problem on Twitter, because I do have 2 accounts on Twitter, and the only reason I created 2 accounts is because on Twitter you gain some elan from the name of your channel, and so I like the one big computer in addition to my time loop identity. But I don't see Twitter, and Kit, you've mentioned this yourself. You sort of see Slack like a replacement for Twitter. Is that true, or do you use it for much more than a person would use on Twitter?
Telegram, you mean?
Telegram. What did I say?
What?
Oh.
Yeah. For certain subjects, especially crypto, Telegram has replaced Twitter as my main information source. And I still use Twitter, and I still read it, but I am ZZ, but I use it as my main source of crypto information. And that's just because it's the most immediate, fastest, focused source. And that's actually the difference. Twitter is kind of like a fire hose. And yes, Twitter has list functionality. And if you want to, you can make a crypto list. I've done that. And then if you only want to read the crypto stream, then you switch to your crypto list. But Telegram, because of its topic-based grouping, it just works much better.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that. But I certainly, Twitter is a place to follow individuals. And it doesn't follow, I'm not sure, I'm not sure what you gain from it, but again, I still use it. But I felt that But do you consider Telegram a replacement for something like Slack or Discord?
In some ways, but they're different environments. I mean, on Slack and Discord, you have a bunch of functionality that isn't available on Telegram. But Telegram has just become a kind of universal channel, to call it, in terms of communication with a large group, at least within the crypto world. And if you explore further, you'll find lots of other groups who are using it. But I mean, if for instance, I'm not saying that we're going to do this, but if some startup is going to do an eco, have to have Telegram. It's just, there's no ifs and buts. They've got to have Telegram, and it's going to be a huge, but you got to do it. And Twitter is more of a broadcast medium in that sense. I mean, of course, you also have to respond to things on Twitter, but Telegram is much more interactive because it's chat as opposed to intermittent tweets. And I think that's part of the reason that things like Telegram and QQ in China have become so popular. They're directly interactive with a focused group of people.
Yeah, I think integrating with Telegram is important. I think it's a good general model. It serves a lot of purposes. The Dig Life thrust is on integrating with Matrix, and we really need a matrix community before we can do that. And of course, we need to staff up people to work on that in the work study. And it sounds like this admin group you're working on is going to end up having a work study that integrates the social ledger, which would be good to Telegram.
Yeah.
So Mao, welcome. Any frustrations and excitements you want to share with us this week?
Actually,
you're on mute. If you can't talk, I guess you can type.
I'll put it into chat this week. Actually, I'm on QQ, and I'm in the RChain channel, and QQ International has this critical feature for non-Chinese speakers, which is you can tap on a message and it will attempt to translate it. Sometimes you get some amusing poetic translations, let me say. But it does allow you to follow the conversation. And so I've seen people like MZZ, and Andy Lee is on there, and then Mervin shows up, and it's an interesting environment. MZZ, I still haven't figured out why you like QQ better than Telegram, but well, maybe I'll figure that out soon.
It sounds like the translation feature is very useful. I don't know anything about QQ. I haven't used it.
Jim, don't you think the meta object or social object capability of social ledger will be important in cross lingual communities? You're on mute if you're trying.
No, absolutely. Okay, the whole double linking structure of sociocracy is designed to enable a collective intelligence of two circles connected by two translators between the circles. Okay, because every community has a different language.
Yes.
And that's why these communities can't scale. And this is a major part of the benefit of sociocratic principles. And the social ledger supports that structure, although it's not finished. I mean, it's a prototype, and it has a long way to go. But we're hoping to get some people, some developers and developer wannabes who will want to rally toward that possibility and potential. And it's really working towards user programmability, as you notice with the things like the when command and the ability that we're working on to put commands into the metadata to describe the behavior, and to have the social objects learn their behavior, what people do with them, what commands they do, and as well as the ability to delegate permissions will make it very powerful.
Yeah, I was just catching up MZZ on my plan to start the RChain test group. NZZ, I'll invite you. In fact, it's going to be a public group. It's not going to be a private thing. Anybody can join. And it'll be announced in the RChain Telegram group. But yesterday, I fucked up, actually. I tried to change rules, and there was a markdown error or something, and I tried 3 times and ended up spamming the channel with a lot of useless text. And so that basically made my decision that, yes, we need an RChain test group where admins can test stuff before they put it into the production group. So that's going to happen this weekend. I have the logo. We're going to have a blue RChain logo to differentiate it. And in the future, maybe we'll rename it to RChain Admin. But for now, I just want to call it test and do the test integrations. And
why don't you call
Jim,
why don't you call it RChain integration or something? RChain connections or RChain.
proper. Oh, I didn't know that.
Call it robots. RHOBOTS.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Is QQ encrypted? I don't think so, huh?
No encryption.
Okay. That's.
I think I was on mute. I don't know. My suggestion was to call the channel Robots. RHOBOTS.
Maybe later. I mean, that's one of the nice things. You can rename Telegram groups. It's easy. His official in 10-cent office. Oh my God. Okay. Well, it's the same in the States, I think. Everybody's listening. And in fact, Telegram is a normal channel, is not encrypted, so that's something we should all be aware of. You can set up secret chats with individuals, but the channel is not encrypted, so probably the Russians are listening to that one. It's friends and enemies, huh? We're all together. What else did I want to say? Yeah, NZZ, when you came in, Jim had asked me about my excitements and frustrations. And yeah, the one thing I want to mention is next week, I'm not gonna be in this meeting because I'm gonna be traveling. And the week after that, I'm gonna be in New York City. So I'm going to meet Jacob Basiri and Kevin Valentine and Nathan Windsor and another guy. So we're kind of setting up a meetup, and that's not with a capital M, just a get together. And I wanted to ask, is there anything that we want to achieve with those guys in terms of, I don't know, steering them in one direction or another, or coaxing them to do something?
Yeah, and you should get Joachim. They're with you as a representative of the social ledger. He's the primary.
Joachim is in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I'm really glad I mentioned this. Let me put that on my list. You want to increase your investments. Okay, well, that's a positive sign. Yeah, actually, MZZ, what I've heard about additional investments is that it is possible, but but the board does not want to make a public announcement like on the website or something, but anybody who is interested, like you or anybody else, can contact one of the board members and ask. And so I believe that is what Jacob is doing, and Jacob is making some noise. He told you a bad story. Okay. Yeah, Jacob. We'll have to see. I will be talking to him on when? On Monday, the 18th. I will meet him in person. He'll propose a term sheet. Okay, well, that's interesting. Jacob has a friend who's quite experienced on the company investment level. Mirinal, I think is his name. Yeah. It's not a tender offer, but it's an offer of some type. I'll think of it in a second. A tender is usually what a government does. But yeah, it's probably hard to translate. Right. Well, I'm in the Netherlands, so I'm not up to speed on U.S. laws either. But what I told you, I heard from a board member, HJ, that there is this possibility.
Tender is a verb meaning to turn over or transfer.
Yeah, it must be some other kind. But, well, we'll see. I will ask Jacob, because if he told you a bad story, I would be curious to hear it also. Oh, shaked out. Shaken out is not good. Okay. Yeah, it seems like there are some games going on. Well, maybe I will learn more on the 18th and during that week, because I'll be in New York for 5 business days, Monday through Friday, and I deliberately set up the first meeting on Monday, so we're going to meet and just have a beer or something. And then if there's more reasons to get together later in the week, that's a possibility. Okay, good. Yeah, we would like to know.
I have a lot of trust for Jacob because I sort of weaned him into RChain, and he has a really strong commitment for the long-term success of RChain. He is more of a trader head than certainly I am, but I'm sure he's working toward the best interest of RChain, and if there's something wrong with his deal, I think he would certainly want to know about it.
So you knew Jacob before he got involved in RChain?
I don't think so. I think, but I greeted him when he came in. I had Zoom calls with him before he really bought into RChain. I supported him when he was accused of trolling the channel. He had a lot of questions, and they were reasonable questions.
My confidence in Jake is his understanding of some of the technical aspects of RChain. And, I thought, wow, he's certainly done his homework on the technical material, above and beyond what I would expect from most investor types. No, I'm not trying to say things about investor types, but I just wouldn't expect investors to be able to understand the workings of RChain quite as well.
Yeah, I second that. I was also surprised because I thought I was a bit more technical than Jacob, but he has published some texts that I would not have been able to write. So,
well, yes, I can understand them, but I appreciate his ability to put them together in a language that I also understand. I can't write things like that.
No, he's definitely taken a dive into the tech and learned a lot. And you also see it on Telegram. Sometimes he answers fairly technical questions with good answers, in the sense that people are satisfied.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I got notifications on.
So,
gentlemen, Jim and Kit, especially, I'm going to create a circle in the Telegram Bridge channel, and if there are no objections, I'm going to include you two as members of that circle. And this will be and my intention is to kind of let that be a center for documents and concerns that may arise in the social ledger to Telegram port. Is that possible? Would either of you care if would prefer that I do not add you? Okay, Kit, I got a thumbs up on you. Jim? Okay, good. I will add you if you don't add yourself.
Now, where is this channel?
The Telegram Bridge channel on RChain Mattermost.
Okay. Sweet.
And that will be for the Mattermost side of the concerns, and then Telegram will probably have the bulk of it. But anything you want to keep in the social ledger format, Kit, feel free to use our side of the bridge until we get social ledger over there.
Well, remember that any events any actions that are added are posted in the channel and will be on the Telegram side as well.
And you'll notice my first action was say things in the bridge channel that works on both sides. Is that too much of a restriction? Would you rather move the circle to some other place? I think it's very appropriate.
Well, wait a second. Okay. That can be, a norm. Is that a major activity of the channel?
Of the bridge channel?
That people are going to commit effort to delivering some product. I'm not sure that qualifies as an action.
What, do you want me to delete it?
No.
Okay, RChain.
I'm just saying, an action is a primary action is integrating the social ledger with Telegram. That would be an action, right?
Well, the next time you see me say something that makes sense on both sides of the channel, I'm going to claim some commitment for that action, and then you can say, "Well, that doesn't make sense."
I'm just saying that when somebody that the deliverables of the channel are the primary things that need to be actions. Okay. What
the goal.
What are we going to deliver?
I think the goal of this. I think the goal of this channel, of this particular channel, should be to bring social ledger to Telegram. Jim, you're muted. You're muted, Jim, if you're trying to say anything.
Right, and so the development of that is an action, because that's a deliverable. It's something people are going to commit effort to. So
okay, you're right. What I've said is a norm, because the channel could probably be used for other things. But it would be nice if what is said in that channel makes sense on both sides.
True. That's why I say don't delete it. It's fine. It's just not. It's just not the primary purpose of an action on the social ledger, which is to drive people toward goals that meet objectives.
What about the goal? What about our goal for that channel being to get social ledger to Telegram? And because the circle exists on our side of the bridge, it doesn't exist on the Telegram side of the bridge.
I think the goal is, collective intelligence between Telegram and other social network and Mattermost and other social networks, kind of thing.
I will support that.
We're trying to connect the communities in a way that fosters a collective intelligence.
Okay, I can support that.
So, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, MXX or?
Yeah, the one thing I wanted to mention, I just put it in the chat, but if we know anybody in our community who is motivated and would want to help out with social ledger integration in Telegram, if they know Node.js, that would be really helpful, because some friends of mine have written bots for Telegram, and fairly complex bots that do things like so you can type a command in, like price rock 240. It'll come back with a 4-hour chart movement, indicate everything, and it's impressive stuff. And it all happens in Telegram, and it's written in Node.js. So If we can find some Node.js expertise, that would help.
Well, Node.js is the MetaMaps integration is written in Node.js. The social ledger right now is written in PHP. And because there'd be so little programming on that side, it should probably be done in PHP if we need to do any at all. We don't know yet. Until we try it, we don't know if we have to do any customization. We simply want to call the webhook, from a bot. It should be really simple.
Well, let's start that way.
Yeah,
and
you're developing the test channel just in time to try it. Set up a work study. Let's do it.
So, okay. Well, I noticed that MZZ didn't say anything, and he's a Python and Rust guy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we want to use parity for the Ethereum, which is Rust. And Rust is the right way to program. I've asked about Rust programming on RChain, and there was some interest. But, and we still can use Rust. And I think Rust is the only maintainable language that's compatible with RChain in its concept. In that, the ownership of pointers are messages that get passed around in a very, I mentioned that a Rust implementation of RChain would be awesome, and Greg didn't disagree.
Yeah, but he did say we want to keep control.
Well, no, he says, I'm sure he'll support any other implementation. I mean, what I want to do is RChain Lite, okay, or RChain front end, which does transactions peer-to-peer from the browser. It's a browser based with WebAssembly and Rust.
Right. Yeah, somewhere in my notes, I saved your Chinese characters, MZZ, so that I can retrieve them and paste them. But MZZ is much easier. Yeah, it's this keyboard. So, okay, I'm done with frustrations and excitement, I think. So maybe we want to talk about identity.
Yeah, and we used a whole hour without talking much about identity, unfortunately. But let's see what we have in the project log for today. Let me share my screen. Okay, well, we have the OAuth integration, which is, a very basic necessity of the social ledger before it can be more than a prototype. Right now there's no security at all. Anybody can do anything. And that's part of the philosophy, is everybody is king. You can do anything, but the user information is encoded in the URL, and anybody can forward it to the URL and do anything for anybody. And we also need to know what server an activity is on in order to make a commitment in the dashboard. When you're in the dashboard and you're looking at activities, it needs your permissions. It needs to know who you are. So the OAuth authentication is a high priority. and I'm looking to, we need developers bad. I'm certainly willing to coach and participate, but I'm old, I'm retired. I want to pass the baton on to the younger guys who want to learn to do development. And I got my hands in too many pots to work on them all. I work on the necessary. I mean, we were announcing a global search in Mattermost this week, so I had to work on that. And it's really cool. It works good. Joachim did most of the work. I just got it working as a proof of concept. But
Jim, where will that be announced? I know it was announced on RChain and Dig Life, and
RChain only has one team in their domain, so they don't need a global search.
Yes, but I already find it better than the existing search because the report that you get back makes a lot more sense and has a lot more meta information in it.
Yeah, I guess it's nice. Well, I haven't looked yet. I mean, it doesn't tell you what channel it's in.
It does too. No. Let me take that back. The global search tells you where it found the keywords and it groups them by channels. What were you saying?
I didn't see it yet. Joachim did a lot of work on it, apparently.
Oh yeah, go look at it.
For every channel, you get an ID for a message that matches the search, and you don't know what channel it's in. So then you have to do another API call to get the channel for that for every message, which I wanted to use caching for that, but I didn't know Joachim solved the problem. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's really nice. I've been talking about it all morning, and I'm waiting for someone else to really pick up on it. I thought Laura was going to discover it there.
Yeah, well, I was in announcements, and it's going to be in the newsletter Monday, which is why we had to get it done this weekend. I'm so glad Joachim finished it before I had to work on it.
You realize that there are probably people that will get the social ledger for that feature alone?
It could be, and it can be separated. But
why would you? I mean, social ledger is too good to separate.
Yeah.
Although it's not done yet, we've got to get the OAuth integration.
Yeah, and the global search is not finished yet, because as we collect what servers you're on, okay, we can search all those servers. Right now, it just searches one server. But as part of doing the OAuth, we're going to be getting the list of all your servers, so we can go through them all when we do global search. So you'll get RChain, and you'll get DiviDAO, and you'll get DeckStack, and you'll get Dig Life. All the Mattermost you're in that you've used /dig in. Because every time you type /dig from another context, you're adding another identity to your universal identity, which is the collection of all your identities. Under your control and principle. That's what we're building towards. And it's great to have the it's great to have the RChain community very much interested in collaborating with us, which is the second item on the agenda here. I don't know, the technical issues, token storage, webhook landing page, Discord, Telegram OAuth. I think we covered the that basically. Does anybody want to go any further into this or have any reactions to agenda item number 1 here? Check chat.
Sorry. I have one small question, which is landing page per MM server. Does that mean a software instance? For instance, we have RChain and Divi. Is that 2 servers?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, but let me just show you what we got here. Okay, now in RChain, there's just one channel. They had this channel, but they stopped using it. I should probably leave it so it wouldn't show the list here of themes or domains on RChain. So the global search searches across all these domains on the left here.
Yeah.
And then when I go to deck stack, okay, the social ledger is only in the practices domain. So the but the global search will work across all their domains. In this, but you can only execute /dig here. Divi DAO, we got a gazillion channels here. They have the, and most of them are inactive. They lack facilitation. Even though there's a Dig Live collaboration with the Collaborative Technology Alliance and the Open App ecosystem, they're double linked, both of them. It would be perfect if we can onboard these teams. We have a new one, which I don't think she's joined yet, Social Planning Channel from New Earth. So the global search will work across all these communities, which includes the Bring Your Own ID channel. It includes dividao.org well, to give if you've been there. So here the global search will work across all these teams or domains. Now, once the social ledger knows about all of your identity in each of these teams, you have the same identity in all of these teams, but in a different Mattermost server, you have a different identity. It could be the same username and password, could be something else.
Right.
So when you type /dig here, okay, it's essentially you're going to have to get a login. The way it's done in the MetaMaps integration is you type a command to link the identity. But
no, that's.
But we can also have you sign in to the main one. In other words, this instance uses a certain instance of the social ledger, which is the Divi DAO instance of the social ledger. So when you type /dig here, ultimately, if it tries to get a permission, it's going to try to log you in there, and you're going to put in a login and password, and that will link your identity here to your login on DivvyDAO. Your login in one of these communities. Okay, because it's the same login. Is that clear?
So you basically you have the option of proxying or copying your identity on another server.
No, what we're trying to do is a single sign-on to all of these, a universal identity.
Right.
Okay, so we're storing tokens in your cookies, in your browser. And we're also storing them encrypted.
Ah, that's what that node is in the okay, yeah.
Okay, either in the PHP cache or in Firebase, that's the two options we have right now.
Right.
Okay, and so that you could, it'll be able to authenticate for you. And if you're not logged in, it'll log you into that server. But it knows what it's already associated, your username, okay, with in that domain. So if it has a token, it can use it. Otherwise, you're going to get a login. And log in, and then it'll save the token. Okay, when you've logged in to one of your servers, the question becomes, does that login that login applies to the others as well? So if it has a token, it'll use it. And how long the tokens will be good and all that stuff has to be worked out. But in general, it should minimize the number of sign-ons tremendously, as long as you stay active. It shouldn't.
Okay. And Jim, a while ago, I told you that I'm involved with another project, and you said if we wanted to, we could get a domain on Mattermost, would be in that Divi server, right? The one with all the with lots of squares. Okay. I'm not saying we want to do it, but I've proposed a thing, but it might happen.
Remember, participants in the trial earn Divi, which they can redeem as rock.
Okay, well, I'll mention that as an additional benefit. It'll require some explanation, but it's okay. Right now we have a Telegram group, and that's sufficient. But if the growth, the slow momentum continues with the project, then having Mattermost would be a good thing. So yeah, maybe in January or something.
Yeah,
but that's also next week. Next week I also have him in New York for that project at the UN actually. So it's going to be an interesting week. Hopefully I'll have some things to report. Or a week and a half.
So we can bridge the channels, right?
Yeah, exactly. That would be the ideal thing, is if we have the bridges fully flowing.
So it might be worth setting up the team just to have the bridge for now. Well, think about it.
Yeah. Oops. Am I muted? No. Let me first consult with the team before we actually make the step.
Right.
But I'll get back.
Awesome. Okay. Did we get any other questions? Any other issues on the on the universal ID, and maybe we need to be explicit here. Universal single sign-on. Let's put in a social ledger sign-on. Possibly one of the things I should have mentioned here is we should always keep it on the agenda is the /dig ID UMA 2.0 functionality. Okay, and this is the other important part of this is user managed or self-sovereign identity. So we're essentially looking at controlling what is exposed by the individual, by the activity, by the team that contains the activity, the domain or Mattermost team or server, and globally within the social ledger.
Jim, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This dig ID UMA 2.0 functionality is actually concurrent with the OAuth functionality, isn't it?
Well, it's I separated it here because it is a separate development. Okay, it depends on the OAuth functionality.
Yeah, but OAuth could go forward without the UMA 2.0?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we have agreements. We define what's exposed. Your full name is exposed. You can set that to anything you want. Okay, and the activities within a circle are exposed, and the people, identified or not, the commitment to those activities. Okay, and you can control that. But I mean, you can choose what to expose by what you put on the social ledger. So the intention of putting it on the social ledger is to expose it. So we're in principle supporting UMA, but not any of the control. I don't know if that answered your question. UMA, essentially, you'll be your own identity provider.
Well, the reason I asked was I feel like I have my hands full with OAuth, and so if I could avoid having to look at UMA 2.0, I would.
Right. I'm not asking anybody here to work on it. What we're trying to do is collect teams to do all of these things, right? If we don't say what they are, nobody's going to jump on the bandwagon and say, "Hey, I want to work on that. I want to be part of that effort. I'm willing to attend work studies and learn something new."
Gotcha.
And that brings us to the HoloChain identity. Well, any other reactions or comments on the /BYOID project? Okay. The HoloChain identity. We have I got added to a DP distributed PKI identity channel in the HoloChain Mattermost, and no activities have been defined for this channel.
Well, this is a public video, but could we ask why this is a private channel?
Oh, no particular reason that I can see. We did discuss it, and we agreed on a certain amount of openness, but indeed, it is a private channel. Nothing was on the screen that could be controversial, so thank you for noticing that. In terms of the video of our meeting is public, is published on YouTube, so it's not a very private channel.
Okay, that makes sense.
Jim, would you switch to the Giveth domain and share? Yes.
So,
yeah, this post, yeah, a nice small world thing.
Yeah.
But this is a Dutch guy who lives in my city in Rotterdam, who's working on Giveth. And I met him through the series of linked circles that went through you and to Joachim, the social ledger, and to Giveth, and to Griff and BCC Macreon, and finally came back to Rotterdam. So I was really, and I posted these images because it was a nice experience to meet somebody who lives like, I don't know, a mile away or something, through this chain of interactions. And as I said there, it's proof that it's working. Jim, you're on mute.
Yeah, Giveth contracts are near the top of our list for governance, assuming they come out in January or whenever. It won't be a complete solution, I don't think, but it will be a great demonstration of liquid democracy and holacracy, sort of put together in a reward system that's based on reaching milestones. sort of, where funds are in escrow based on performance, which is pretty cool. And to watch one of their governance meetings is a good thing, because they're not that I would run them exactly the same, but you want to get the same effect in terms of inclusion, in terms of gaining the consent process and such. But Griff's an amazing guy. Watch any of his videos; they're really inspiring. Jordy is, probably the best blockchain programmer I've run across, and he writes contracts that are really readable, which is very unusual. And he, was very active in the handling of the DAO exploit. And you can still go to the Give Us Slack and get your DAO back. They'll help you. And Jordy did a presentation for us, which we have a video of for a number of years ago on the liquid democracy. So Giveth is, as a partner, I wish there was more facilitation of the social ledger. Thank you for participating.
Well, it was a happy, a synchronistic coincidence.
Yeah. So, I don't know, are these other pictures?
Yeah, I posted those just to show the agenda. So, yeah, you'd have to zoom in to see the agenda. The Ethereum dev meetups here in Holland are really good. Really, yeah, always interesting projects and lots of developers and interesting people. So I always go, and at a previous one, I did a lightning talk about my RChain project, because we are looking for developers. Like everybody, huh? And well, it worked. Some people came on board. So the momentum in the Ethereum community is really high in Holland, and there's a lot of people, a subset, that are very interested in RChain. So I think we're on a good path there. And during my lightning talk, I plugged RChain.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. So I'm wondering if there's another action we should announce in the here, and I'm wondering if we should set up a bridge channel on Give Us Slack. That might be how we can promote the connection between our communities.
Between Telegram and?
No, I was thinking a bridge channel to Mattermost.
We already have a bridge channel to Mattermost, don't we?
Not from the Giveth Slack.
Oh, I thought we did.
We don't have any Slack bridges yet. We have Mattermost, Discord, and Telegram. No Slack.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kit,
adding a bridge from anything to anything is trivial. Anybody can do it.
Kit, I was going to ask, are you a member of the Digital Life Collective?
Um, yes, I paid and joined the membership, but I'm a very inactive member.
Okay, I thought you were, but I wanted to make sure I hadn't just made that up.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
no,
Jim, one thing I can say about this this new search command is so good that I find myself spending a lot of time closing out those windows that I've opened with the search command. Is there any way where we could add some sort of command line to close all, things that are only visible to me? And you're on mute if you understood my question.
Yeah, if you what they call the ephemeral messages,
Yes.
they're not really ephemeral. Uh, they they never go away. I don't think, unless you specifically cancel them. Um, I haven't seen the latest output. Oh, I haven't installed the latest in here.
In where?
I haven't installed it on DiviGal. I didn't. The latest search only works.
I thought it did work already because I noticed it was working on RChain this morning, and it was really nice in both places.
Well, this is pretty ugly here. You're talking about you want to exit these you want to exit all these ephemeral messages all at once. You know, the best thing to do is just exit them immediately if you don't need it anymore.
I know, but I'm so that's not my work style. I like to kind of cascade. I like to do one search, and that always, suggests another search. I guess I need to develop a habit. But one other thing I was thinking was the output of these searches becomes very large, very quick, often. Is there any way we can
paginate them? No.
No, not paginate them, but fine tune them. In other words, can I make can I quote my string so that it's very restrictive?
Your string is always quoted, I think.
It doesn't give me, if I search for Gary or my nickname, but I only want messages that, I can't double qualify those searches, can I?
I don't think so. I have to look back at it. Okay, it doesn't give the channel. It just gives the team. If you click on it, you go to the channel. But
what do you mean it doesn't give the channel? It just gives the team.
Okay.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's like I said. For every message, you have to look that up with an API call. So it really makes sense that those have to be cached. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but this is good enough because it does take you to the channel, and you get these most recent first.
Are they grouped by channels, or could you tell that from just looking?
They're in the order of most recent first.
Oh.
But the whole reason you're doing a global search is you don't know what channel. And you click on it, you go there.
Yeah, I don't see that as being a problem. I find the way that the search works over on the Digital Life Collective the best because we we have I feel that we have a better collection of domains there.
And I'm really hoping that we get somebody on board who that's important to, so they add the channel. But if necessary, I'll get around to it someday.
But notwithstanding, I still prefer the output to this search to what you get in Mattermost, the default in Mattermost search. I find I don't ever use that because it messes up my screen layout, and I have to get rid of it when I'm done because I don't like the way the screen looks. But with this, I just continue on, and it doesn't change the format of my screen. Anyway, these are small details. This is, there's no accounting taste.
What was Wally Bag? I just looked at this yesterday. I don't know what it is.
I've never seen it before. Extracts an article's content and only its content and displays it in a comfortable view.
Sounds like Pocket. And Pocket was just bought by Firefox, so they're nicely integrated now. But whenever you see something you want to read it later because you don't have time now, you just throw it into Pocket. So this sounds very similar.
All right.
Okay. Well, guys, sign off. And
thanks, Kit.
Yeah. For the next week, I'll have a bit of radio silence. So,
enjoy your trip.
Thanks, but I'll be available on Telegram because that's on my mobile phone. And I know I've got Zoom on my phone too, but with mobile connection.
Yeah, that's really the only thing I use my telephone for when I'm out and about is to read Telegram. The Mattermost interface is worthless on the phone.
Yeah. So, and hopefully we meeting a group, we'll check in at some point from New York in that week from the 18th to the 22nd or something. So
yeah, great. And yeah, I would enjoy any contacts that you have. That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you find out that, if there's a reason for you guys to attend this meeting, that wouldn't be the worst thing.
Well, actually, I tried to set that because Nathan Windsor, he has a co-working space in Brooklyn, in Greenpoint, which is kind of hard to get to. He suggested that we organize a meetup at her space, and I suggested let's time the meetup to coincide with the member meeting and the weekly debrief. But he said, no, that can't happen because the co-working space is in use by other people at that time. So yeah, getting that overlap didn't work, but we might try something else. And if so, then we'll post about it in Discord and on Telegram, and then hopefully we'll cross digital paths that way.
All right.
Okay. Good luck. See you. Bye, NCZ.
See you, Kid. I got to take off too here, Jim. I haven't had breakfast or lunch yet.
All right. We just had the HoloChain stuff on left over, and it's basically putting the distributed identity, the DID name service.
Yes, very important. Yes.
Which depends on the anchor functionality, get functionality being released on HoloChain. Currently, the alpha doesn't support that. So, I mean, we can certainly start development, but we have that dependency. That's about it.
That's all I have. Thanks.
Take care, guys.